This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our supreme and master speakers, Circa Barrakiel, Remy Asalia, Omiji Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Arcadia Lunashine, Dramavian, Alex Franco AV, Nina Grimstaughter, Casey Schaefer, Dimos, Lily Black, Hans Grenade, Sapa Chakwatol, Faris Gentoru, Cletus Oreo, Quick Levin, Luke Leonatrell, Ceres, Icy Lee, Lyria Rain, Pamela Isley, Umbral Wind, Naive Arano, Celeste Rascris, Elenriel Maximus, Edwin, Bob CC, Fabson Voidworm, Rami Maverick, Code Red No, Mira Miri, Winebow Brood, Bay Barbalay, Kaiser Regina, Usura Akari, AJ Brainswordsome, Suno Shikano, Gideon Ura, Buster Gearhold, Asuta Starbreeze, Nat Clay, Camille Grineau, Huskies, and Face on Masher. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Eorzeans. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 238. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston and Rollo Des.
Hello.
Hello.
It is March 20th, 2021, and today's main topics: 5.5, baby! Patch art and website has been released, so we'll speculate a little about the patch art. There's not much to say about the content on the website, but it's nice to get a little refresher about what will be discussed on the upcoming live letter, which we'll also discuss. We have a date. It's very exciting. It's all happening at once. We'll talk about that. We'll also read two interviews, one interview with the lead UI designer and the localization team in charge of, is it all of them? It's Europe and European and English?
I saw a German and a French translator in there, so I would assume so.
Yeah. And if there's time, we'll be reading Mugmail. Stay tuned for the post-show. Questions from the Syndicate. That's it. You know how the post-show works. That's that. That's in-channel updates. Core should be out. Part 2 should be out. Jesus, what date is it? Tuesday? Next Tuesday is the last day of March? Question mark? No. Next Tuesday. Wait, not this Tuesday.
Tuesday after that.
It's either the 30th or the 31st. But there you go. And then after that, there'll be one more episode. And then there'll be a short break where Roar is out. And then Core will continue again. Yeah. Okay, right. This week in 14, what have we done? Rollo. Wait,
yes.
Did you start?
Well,
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Rollo, you're first.
Okay, it's me.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of 14 this week, actually. Mm-hmm. I've been leveling my white mage up, getting that up there.
Nice.
I just got OGCD heals plenty, which is nice.
Yeah.
I also been grinding away a little bit in Bazia. Because you guys are gonna hate me for this.
Uh-oh.
I have so many memories that I have not used. I have I think almost 30 of each, 35, something like that. And I've not progressed through past that because I just don't care.
Rollo, please. At least get that relic. You don't have to do the other shit, but you have it.
I know, but which one do I pick? I think they all look.
See, that is a legit problem. It's that, if you want them for the aesthetic, which one do you pick?
No, he was about to say he thinks they're all ugly.
I hate glowy weapons. I think they look really. They're not glowy? Okay, that's good.
This is the base.
Still, I don't like how they look for the most part. There's none where I'm like, yes, I would like to sink time into this. None of them. I don't think they deserve my time. So I'll keep my memories. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, it's so okay. Yeah. Right. All right. So you've been doing Bosnia just for leveling.
Yeah, just for leveling, and doing the caster when it comes up too, because you get lots of goodies for that.
True.
I think I'm near cap now. 14, 15. Is it 16? That's the cap.
15.
15. Okay.
Right.
I
think it's 15.
I don't know. I still have levels to gain. I know that, but I'm close to the end. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I just doing more fishing voyages too, because one day I'll get that mount. That fucking suck.
Okay. Georgi?
I should probably get back into Bosnia. I want to at least get to rank 15 before whatever's happening after this, because it's coming that soon. It's not coming in 5.5. It's coming in 5.55.
Yeah.
But other than that, I have been collecting esoteric. What are they?
Oh, the Moogle tomes.
It's esoterics. Yeah, the Moogle esoteric tomes.
Yeah. Irregular tomes. Irregular tomes.
Yeah, irregular tomestones of esoteric. Thank you. That was it. I almost have my T-Rex mount on my main, and I will soon have it on the Ragnarok character as well. So that's all I want.
Yeah. All right. Nice.
Other than that, don't have anything else to do right now. I've got all my characters leveled. I guess I'll go into Bosnia at some point. And I'll also use this as an opportunity to slowly grind up the Mark/Evilise part of the Relic Quest.
Sucks so much. I hate that part. Why did they do that?
Just, you know what? Just don't do it.
Well,
there you go. Just don't do it.
Well, the thing is, Rollo, we only have to do it once, and it's the only part that I don't like. The rest of it, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't do it, though. And
yeah,
then you're
but I only have to...
Rollo, it was...
But here's the thing. I only have to do it once, and then I'm free.
Yeah.
But if you just don't do it ever, then you're freer.
No, I won't be.
Rollo
by my desires.
Rollo just doesn't. He hates relics, so that will be his advice for everything.
No, I'm just saying, don't do things you don't want to do.
See, the worst part is that we, like the people who actually enjoy doing relics, we have to deal with this because of people like you. Because you were like, I don't like I don't like the system. I want one that's like detached completely. That's just like the old things. Well, we got.
I've hated every
alternative.
I mean,
with no alternative.
I mean, I didn't like Eureka either.
No, but
I think Bosnia is much better.
Yeah, but you'd want, when we talked about it on this show, we said hybrid, which this is not. This is just old shit that we've.
I like being in Bosnia because it's fun.
Worst part is it's fucking Void Ark that's been here for 6 years. We've been doing this shit in roulettes for 6 years.
Just get in there, or just don't do it. There you go. You have the freedom, Lukiel.
Well, if I don't do the fucking relic, the fuck am I gonna do? I have to just sit here and do the fucking subs, wait for Cher to return with a twig.
Do some ocean fishing, for God's sake.
Oh, I could.
Maybe then you'll calm down.
That's true. I'll do
yeah, but ocean fishing is on a timer. You can only do it once every 2 hours.
True.
Collect some triple triad cards.
I don't think Lukiel likes triple triad that much.
I got so disappointed. I've said that it's old discussion, but it's not the triple triad that I love in this game. But yeah,
okay.
I do have a lot of cards because there was a time when I cared, but then they started with like locking them behind like certain content and shit, and I'm like, there's just no way. I'll just never get them all.
Oh, actually, I remembered. I have one more thing that I did this week.
Okay.
And this makes me really sad, and I say this with like strain and pain in my heart.
Oh no.
I did Fantasia my main. from Avira because I wanted to enjoy new hairstyles. I wanted to get the wind collar.
Oh no!
I promise though, I will go back if they add some new hairstyles or some helmets or something, please.
So what did you go? What are you now?
I went Mooncat because why not? I've never played a Mooncat before.
Oh,
interesting.
copycat.
Yeah, so you have competition now. Here you. Damn. All right. There's that's well. Oh god, I can. Comments are going to be angry at me again because it's it's just old man yelling at Sky every time. But all right.
What are you yelling at now? What'd you do?
Well, I made fun of Triple Triad, but please,
Oh.
that's an old. Don't give me shit for that. You know that I've said this before. This is old. All right. I still enjoy Triple Triad, the odd Triple Triad. I'm just not very hyped on it. Okay, leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on. Let's jump into recent recent events. Death Unto Dawn, patch 3.5. I just realized that we probably want to look at the artwork that we're talking about today. The website was released. What did you say, Rollo?
I'll ask you guys something when we look at the art.
Okay. The website is up. You can find it on the Lodestone. The link to it, anyways. We'll take a look at it now. It's very. I'm surprised they released it before the live letter.
I think it was because they fucked up.
Yeah, wasn't there like an accidental release?
Well,
and then they were like, "Well, fuck it." They've all seen it, so might as well
release this version of the website with the little dot points beforehand.
But not with the patch art. Patch art
Yes,
is
they
always
do.
but we always get them in the live letter. That's like the reveal, isn't it? I've covered this game for so long, and I still don't know how shit works. So
I feel like
I might be making it up. I just feel like I felt patch art is usually in the live letter. Yeah, I feel.
Yeah. I think the Japanese community post fucked up because I think I was up at like 5 a.m. one night and I just saw it and I was like,
yeah,
what? And then it disappeared. And I was like,
yeah, what
happened?
Yeah. I did read something like that on Twitter as well. So there's I think they might unconfirmed reports of them early posting and then trying to pull it and then be like, oh well, it's out there now. Might as well run with it. Right. So let's see. Let's have a look at the patch art. Audio listeners have to describe it the best we can here.
We'll describe this.
Okay.
All right. Here's my question.
All right.
Okay.
Is it just me, or did they fuck up Raubon completely? He looks like a fucking peanut. Like everyone else in this key art, amazing, beautiful art. I don't know what happened to Raubon.
Yeah, there is something wrong with him.
It just looks like a little off. I think it's like the head shape or something.
I think it's the fact that his head is a greater percentage of his picture compared to everyone else's.
Yeah, he is also his face is
like
a lot
peanut shape. Like he's got the index.
Yeah, that's true. Poor Raubon. I love Raubon.
Raubon's the best.
Yeah.
This art looks dope, by the way. It looks very nice.
It looks very good. It's got Heidelin in the middle. There's like a flame in the background, and then it's crowned by the city-state leaders.
If you look at the flame, it kind of looks like the media logo.
Oh yeah, it kind of does. Yeah. So it's got so there's Heidelin in the middle, and then there's the city-state leaders like around it. So Raubon, Lys, Hien, the Sultana, Nanamo, Merlwib, and Kanaisena, and Emmerich. Interesting. What do you think? So all the city-state leaders are in this logo.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What
Eorzea Fentric expansion is coming, confirmed, but he ends there for no reason.
Well, I would say that this represents the Eorzean alliance. Hence, because they have like a deal with Doma.
Doma.
It does give like a very, I don't know, the end of the world imagery.
Yes,
is very clear in this one. I can't help but notice that the fire thing in the background looks like it has something. There's something they're covering up because you can see it like sort of spiking out on the sides. So it's like made impact. Do you think it's like Garlemald maybe, like the tower, like when shit's going
the
down?
Towers or whatever, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look at Raubon's right ear, like right next to it, the little flame. It looks like a cactuar. You see it?
Yeah, I see it.
It looks like a little cactuar.
Yeah. Right. No, I don't know if there's anything else to say about this art. It's very, very good. It's
yes.
The globe or the planet in the back. That's the part of the globe they're focused on is Eorzea. Like what's the Vilbrand, right?
Yeah, Orthard. Not Orthard, sorry.
No.
Fucking fucking
Aldenard. Yeah. Well, you can see Vilbrand as well.
You can see Vilbrand as well.
Yeah. Cool art. Death unto Dawn.
How do you like compare to some of the other 0.5 art?
What was the previous 0.5 again? Was that the one? Was that the Garlean?
Yeah, the one with like Alphino and Gaius.
The one that combined into like a bigger one.
Yeah.
That one I feel like was really good. I really liked how it like continued. And like, was it 0.5? Was that when the second part was?
Yeah, it was the point. It was the 4.4 and 4.5. Yeah,
that was really cool.
I think a problem that this expansion has had with its patch art, and I do still like it, is that it's a lot of image in the middle surrounded by black space.
Yes.
Oh, I just looked at the Far Edge of Fate patch art. It's a little. I don't know. I feel like we've come a long way.
Can I get
I don't remember
from
what
here?
the Far Edge of Fate was.
It had some Derplander, not the one that we usually associate with, and it had
Far Edge of Fate. This is 4. This is 3.5. I thought this was 3.4 because I definitely remembered this picture. This version of Derplander always confused me.
Yeah, it's like an Alphino's face. It looks a little off.
I need to see this. Let's see.
Because this never matched. I feel like almost any other artwork of the Derplander.
No, this was definitely.
Oh right.
Before they solidified his look, I guess.
Yeah. So like this. Oh god, this is a lot. This is a lot of work for old man.
Yeah. look at Alphino. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's odd. That's not a great 3 point. That's not a good 0.5 artwork, I think.
Like the art's good itself. It's just it seems not very accurate to some of the characters.
No. I mean, it has the Tupsimati. I guess it has some. That was very hype when I saw the Tupsimati. I remember that.
Yeah.
But compare that to like what we have now. It's wow. Yeah, we have come far since then. Yeah. What this means with the city-state leaders is a little unclear. So the only picture we have from the MSQ though is of the city-state leaders convening at like a table. So
Yes.
I guess they'll be heavily. I'm just worried that one of them is going to die.
Yes. Who do you think is going to die?
Well, for me, the thing that worries me is that we had this whole previous patch where we sort of got to know Merlwyb a little better. So if any of them are gonna, because I don't think they're gonna kill Lise, even though I know we all want it, but I feel like Merlwyb is the city-state leader that's the most problematic right now, because she's technically long over her term ended a long time ago. She's essentially just holding on to power like a dictator right now. So if any of them were to die, maybe it would make sense to kill Merlwyb, and that's why in the previous patch we focused on her like managing Limsa, or maybe something dramatic is going to happen to her. But
I don't think
and they do
really
love Rogadins don't have a good track record in this game in terms of.
No, they don't. Gosetsu got out of here while he could. He just lost his hair.
True. I find it hard to believe they could. We also talked about Raubon, because Raubon and Lise, that's a difficult. Like, there's technically two leaders from the same.
Well, Raubon's the leader of their military.
Exactly.
Effectively, he's a better leader than Lise is.
Yes.
Think about it. If they were to kill Lise, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think most people would hate it, and not because like people really like the character or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but more so because if Lise dies, she's our friend. Like she's our character's friend, and so you'd have this thing of like, I'm so sad Lise died.
Well, she's our friend, but not so good a friend that Graha thought that she should be pulled across the river.
Right.
But still, like, I think people wouldn't like it if their character was like, "Oh, I'm sad that my friend."
I can separate my dislike of the character with the fact that my character probably likes Lise.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think all three of the original city-state leaders are the most at risk of dying.
Yeah, I agree. I find it. I don't know if Nanamo, if they're gonna pull that shit with her again. No.
Yeah.
I think she.
Don't think it would be as impactful, even if it did actually happen this time.
Yeah. Unless they want to. I mean, 6.1 and beyond is an interesting time, because that's probably when they can do shit like focus on like one patch on one like Eorzean city-state. Maybe they'll deal with the Sultana problems if she dies in 6.0 afterwards, but I don't think so. We've already done it. We've been down that road before and they chickened out. Yeah, Raubon, we've also said that Raubon is like, if we're going to be very cynical and horrible, Raubon is not conventional in a Final Fantasy sense, a pretty man. You know what I mean?
I will kill everyone around me.
I love Raubon, and I do not agree with. I think Raubon is a very beautiful man, but look at who is surrounded by.
But he's very
beautiful.
handsome.
He's a beautiful in his own way. He's got a beautiful soul. He's got a pretty.
He's a handsome motherfucker with his fucking peanut head.
That's true. I love his stupid peanut head.
Chad is bringing up a good point in that if they killed Nanamo, there would be a power vacuum in Uldar, which would be very weird to leave alone. Even if we are saving the world, the idea that Uldar would be essentially like without a head of state for the entirety of an expansion is very unusual. Would be very weird.
Yes. Anyways, just continuing that. What I said about Raubon, because he's not conventionally Final Fantasy pretty, they might want they might find it. The devs might find it easier to just get him out of here. Which, by that logic, there's no way they're touching Emmerich. They are probably not going to touch Lise, and they might not touch Kane Senna, and I don't think they'll deal with, like, killing Heian would bring up a similar problem to the Sultana dying. So I
just don't think any of them will die, honestly.
I feel like yeah. Go on.
At least not right now.
I feel like I feel the reason I think it's all the original city-state leaders that could die is that I think Raoban is expendable in the sense that for whatever reason Alamega is represented by 2 people.
Yeah.
Melweb could die because she's already set up that she has someone to take over for her.
Yes.
Kane Senna could die because essentially the Seed Seers can just pick another person quite easily.
Yes. I think it's either Merlweb or Raoban, but the reason, so there is nothing that has like given us the impression that there's nothing really that's telling us that any one of them are going to die.
No,
I
mean the giant word death is quite scary.
True, but there's one thing that I've thought about, and that's shit's happening. Like people are getting tempered. If a city-state leader becomes tempered, what happens?
I mean, we just reverse it. We have the power now.
Can we reverse this new one though? We haven't tried that yet. This is like tower induced.
It looks like tempering at least, so
yeah.
It functionally works like tempering. It would be weird. It'd be annoying if the patch after we solved tempering, they added this new super tempering.
That's sort of the thing that I find the most confusing here is that they had a patch where they essentially go, oh, haha, after all these years, we have fixed tempering. Tempering out. It's out of here. No longer a threat. And then the next threat in the patch is like, oh no, people are getting tempered. It's
I think the problem with the towers is they can mass temper.
Yeah, I guess.
And we don't have the power to reverse significant numbers in one time.
Also,
yet.
let's not understate how much it demands to just untemper one person. So if Merlweb got tempered, and let's say Merlweb and her entire like fucking cabinet, like the Mistbeard and all those people get tempered, you have to first get to Merlweb. Like there's a lot, and also you have to I mean it would be a disaster, wouldn't it? So
it would be. I just feel as if they're not gonna I feel as if tempering a city-state leader is even. It would be very cool, but I think tempering a city-state leader is even more damaging to the status quo than killing them. I think it would be even more difficult for them to represent that in the world in a sense of, oh, well, we just have this tempered city-state leader for between the time of 5.5 until 6.0.
Oh my god, can you imagine just a whole city-state being tempered, though? That's fucked. Like, if you think about it like that, the threat is more looming. Like, that's a bigger threat.
That, I agree. I feel like that has to happen during the 6.0 MSQ. I don't think they can do it during
we have 50 plus hours of story. 50 plus hours to fill. So, I mean, they can do like a city-state tempered scenario. Yeah,
that's why I said I think it can work in 6.0. I don't think they can do it in 5.5.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm. Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah. I'm thinking ahead.
Okay, we're talking about the future now.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking because the seeds are being
as of right now. I'd be like,
yeah. There's no way they'll do that in just one patch. Yeah, maybe 0.55 will end with like Merlweb like turning to the camera and her eyes just go.
Could you imagine if like city-states are tempered and then like, you know, they still have to work as a city, so you just go to the vendors and their eyes are just blue.
yeah, we're tempered, but we're managing. We're all right.
See, that's the functional problem I have with the idea of tempering happening before 6.0.
Yeah,
maybe they'll be like, okay, like I'm tempered, but like I haven't been told to strike just yet, but you know I'm tempered.
I mean that is possible because that happened with the guards that let in the what are the snake people called?
Ananta?
The Ananta.
Yeah.
When Lise was having her little sit on the floor, solve the problems of Alamigo in 4.1.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Garlemald could get tempered as well, and that's why it's destroyed. Like, I don't think we destroy Garlemald. I think that's the work of...
Oh, I definitely don't think we do it.
No. Yeah, he did say... Yoshi P said that 5.5 could end on a big cliffhanger, because they didn't do that last time, I think.
No,
so
they did not.
No.
That was a very frustrating split patch.
Yes. Yeah, they might not like do big city state. Maybe they'll do like a village or like a I don't know.
You know what?
Tempering has so many possibilities. That's a threat.
They can do it to Alamigo. You can't even go there.
God, you're right. And the first tempered we saw was in Garabania. They're gonna fucking do that, aren't they? Oh my god. All right. Well, that's what we can get from the patch chart. Is really cool. Make sure you check it out if you haven't, for audio listeners.
Look at his peanut head.
Look at Ramon's peanut head. The website lists what we can expect in patch 5.5, including main scenario quest, new alliance raid, Yorha Dark Apocalypse. And
Still don't know the raid's name.
No. New dungeon, Pagelthan. It's the Amaljo thing. We've talked about it. Chronicles of a New Era.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. We've talked about everything.
I'm still. Oh no! Well, I was just going to say I'm still on the idea that the final boss of Pagelthan will be like Lunar Ifrit.
Oh yeah, possible. Yeah. Chronicles of a New Era, The Sorrow of Wurlit. No. Well, I mean, it's the story. It's the story, The Sorrow of Wurlit. The new trial, The Cloud Deck. Yes. That's Diamond Weapon. New Save the Queen Battlefield, Sadnor. The PlayStation 5 version open beta begins. That's quite important. That happens with 5.5. New Unreal trial. Don't know who it is. Ish Guardian Restoration updates. New custom deliveries. Explorer mode update. New Game Plus updates. Performance updates. New mounts. New minions. New emotes. And more! All of this, of course. Yeah?
I wonder what the Explorer mode updates will be.
They're probably going to add the dungeon. What if that's it?
The dungeon.
The new dungeon. That's all they're adding. That's
just Pagelthan?
Yeah.
I mean, didn't they... Last expansion they added... Last Explorer update they added level 70 dungeons, didn't they?
They added... No, did they add them?
I thought they did, but maybe I'm completely imagining this. Or maybe they're adding 70 with this one. Okay, so they said in the last live letter that they're adding level 70 dungeons this time. Okay,
yes. All right, so
good memory.
That's 5.5. Speaking of, letter from the producer live. We have a date.
Yay.
April 2nd.
Good Friday. Great Friday.
Yes, fantastic.
That's going to be, was it 4 a.m. PDT? So that's...
Yes, that is...
It's early. Eastern. I don't...
I mean, it's not 4 a.m. PDT. It's not going to be 4 a.m. for you, so don't complain too much.
I know. It's still 7 a.m. early.
So like 1 p.m. my time, probably? Because I think it's... So noon BST, 1 p.m. my time, yeah.
I hear your complaints, and I just have it's so difficult for me to have sympathy for you, Rollo, considering how much time I wake up for the podcast. For the stress.
I need my beauty sleep. Okay.
So do I.
I need more.
All right. So 4 a.m. PDT. That's noon BST. 1 p.m. Central European time. Well, by then Central European Standard Time. Is that when we go into CEST? Is that next? I wonder.
Don't ask us.
No, are we in... I don't know. I don't know how this works. I wish we didn't have this fucking system. Whatever fucking time zone, whatever daylight savings shit is called in Europe. European Central Shit Time. CEST! Okay, so there you go. Patch 5.5 preview part 2, and some miscellaneous updates. Right. Just remove daylight savings. I say this every 6 months when we do this fucking shit. Stop it! Anyways, let's jump into...
Soon, Lakil.
What?
Soon, probably.
Don't get me started.
You already started.
they say that every year. They're like, yes, we're almost there. It'll be gone soon. Okay, whatever. That's
Another
also,
decade.
That's also why we started late today. We didn't start late. We started just in time for 19 minutes past, which is just in time here in Europe, because we kind of didn't think about the fact that DST happens earlier in America. So sorry about that, live viewers. Right, let's jump into
It'll
the main...
also be the case for next week.
Yes, same for next week. Yes. All right, let's jump into our main story. We have 2 interviews with parts of the dev team that we don't hear much about, which always intrigues me. Yep.
Square Enix run interviews.
Yes, which is also interesting. It's always interesting when you're interviewed by your own. But all right. This is the 4th. Remember Backstage Investigators? That was a thing that they don't promote for some reason. So no, the 4th interview of Backstage Investigators is with lead UI artist Yoichi Seki.
Do you want to give them the date this was released?
This was released on February 16th.
So more than a month ago, and we only us, as in us.
Yeah.
The podcast people, the people speaking to you now, only discovered it this week.
Yes. Because I don't think this was ever published on the Lodestone, because surely we would have snapped it
It's
up.
not. They don't publish these on the Lodestone. I don't know why they don't cross-promote it that way.
Very odd.
You have to earn it.
You have to be really committed. All right. Yoichi Seki, I want to show I'm going to be grandpa a little bit.
Oh, whoa, new laptop.
No, this is the same one.
Oh, is
This
it?
is a tablet. Oh, no. Yeah.
No, I can turn it into tablet mode. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there he is. He has a cute little
He's playing
avatar. He's playing Mahjong. And he's got, I think,
I
that's some
assume
battery
he made
fresh.
Mahjong.
Some battery fresh on the desk.
I thought he was the one that made Mahjong as well.
The
we'll find
creator
out in the
of Mahjong.
interview.
Wow,
Yeah, the entire
legend.
thing. He's lived for thousands of years.
Oh my god, he's ancient. I love it. All right, here we go. Yoichi Seki as a UI. Okay, here we go. As a UI, as a UI artist, Seki goes above and beyond so that we can enjoy our time in Eorzea as smoothly as possible. So without further ado, investigators, move out. Okay, here we go. Again, it's written in this weird format where they're overly polite. You know how Japanese interviews go. It's interesting. Please introduce yourself to our readers. My name is Yoichi Seki, and I'm the lead UI artist of the 14 team. So this is just a little piece of journalistic advice, is that when your article is already led with that, you don't need to have that written in the article again where they introduce themselves. It's completely irrelevant. But all right. What do you work on as a UI artist? When you think of the term UI artists, your first impression may be that our work is limited to menu windows, icons, and gauges. But actually, UI artists are in charge of much more, including the title menu, credits, loading screens, 2D maps, minigame menus for seasonal events, Dome and Mahjong, and the cards for Wondrous Tales and Kupo of Fortune. We even work together with UI designer Kei Oragiri on the group post feature. Since UI artists work on a wide range of features, we often coordinate with other groups outside of the UI team, such as the event team, effects team, character team, and live team. I believe, did we not read something with Odagiri before? I feel like we've had... His name rings a bell, but...
It does sound familiar. I think it might have been at a...
I can't speak with 100% surety on when or if we have.
Yeah, I think
He was on a live letter.
Yeah, his name I don't remember, but I mean, surely we've heard about them before. They're important. So, okay, you're right. When I think of UI, I think of those various system-related conveniences that are added with each patch. But in fact, UI artists were involved in a great variety of different features. I believe you also designed the icons for actions. In particular, the Blue Mage actions added in patch 5.45 have especially vivid and detailed icons. Was that done intentionally? Seki says, we're very meticulous with designing the action icons. That said, the Blue Mage icons were requested to be displayed larger than usual, since they would appear in the Blue Mage log. True. They have a bigger picture in the log. Hearing this, the staff member who designed the original Blue Mage icons was gracious enough to make the illustrations a little more vivid than usual. The results were quite eye-catching, and since then, we've continued to give Blue Mage icons a little extra flair, meanwhile ignoring other actions, it sounds like. It's like, fuck the other actions. The Blue Mage icons...
we only get, like... I was just going to say, we only get, like, 4 or 5 maybe new action icons per class each expansion.
Yeah, that's
Blue Mage gets like 15 every patch. It gets an update.
We've talked about the Blue Mage icons before. They are very good. Like they're very
yes.
Yeah. I was worried when we heard about Blue Mage that we were going to get like just variations of this because there's so many, but they never went down that route, so that's good. Okay, so that's why they look a little different from other actions. As a collector, it scratches an itch when the Blue Mage log gradually fills up with new learned actions. When it comes to icons in general, is there anything you're particular about when creating them? Do you have any personal favorites? Seki says, I personally emphasize recognizability and ask other staff members to keep that in mind as well. Making split-second decisions in the heat of battle would be more difficult if you had multiple icons that all look similar, 1.0. Notably, healer jobs seem to have a lot of sparkly actions, so it can be hard to make each icon look unique. My personal favorites are Astrologian's action icons, which I believe are quite pretty.
They are pretty.
They are pretty, yeah.
Lots of purple and blues.
Yeah? I was gonna pick out one that I like the most out of them, but Divination is very intriguing. I think that one looks... It has like the little orb in it. It has... It's very... that one stands out to me, I feel like. Okay, anyways. On a slightly different note, action icons used to be created at a smaller data size since they weren't intended to be displayed at higher resolutions, PS3. So when we began talking about displaying them on the Lodestone, we asked the Lodestone team to process each of them and display them at a certain way so that they wouldn't be blurry when they were enlarged. Nowadays, there are an incredible number of actions, so we create action icons at a larger size to begin with. To tell the truth, we had a complete overhaul of actions icons in late 2019 in order to keep up with current trends of higher resolutions. Okay. Yeah, you can tell that some of these have been redesigned even. Well, some of them have just... Yeah. I feel like the, the what is that called? Ingenuity? Is that the lower left one?
I think that's either Ingenuity or it might be Inner Focus.
Okay, it's one of them. Anyways, it's the one with the hero holding his like bicep. Being like, that one looks like it's been just run through like an upscaler. But the the return icon seems to have been redesigned.
It definitely has, because you can see there's less dots at the top half of the icon.
Should have
Oh,
had
God,
more
it's not the
pictures.
other ones. They just look so greasy.
Yeah.
I don't think did they announce that they upgraded the icons back in 2019? I feel like they
I think we talked
they
about
didn't.
this.
Oh yeah.
You
I
did?
have a faint memory of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never noticed that. What's the Dragoon action in the top left?
Team spike?
Yeah.
Something like that?
That it's going through. Sorry, I have to be Grandad again. That it's going through like glass. Come on. Come on.
It's nice
baby.
and okay, there we go.
There you go. It's like going through like glass. It's shattering glass. I don't think I've ever noticed that. Okay. What? You really did that? I hadn't noticed at all. Making that, I don't know if that's a compliment or I didn't notice that you did all this work. Making drastic changes to the icon's appearance would confuse players, so we were very careful to remake the icons to look the same when displayed in-game. Our staff members worked really hard on it, and now they're much larger in data size. With the upcoming PS5 version of the game, we'll have to make everything compatible for higher resolutions. However, we can skip the action icons since we've already finished them, and work on other aspects instead. I'm glad we worked on them earlier. I mean, there are about 3,000 icons just for actions alone. That's a lot of work. Good lord. Sometimes there were cases where I opened up a file and I couldn't tell what action it was supposed to be. I had a good look at how the action icons were comprised when I joined the 14 team. Medica 2 stood out to me in particular because of its cute pink color. But when you look closely, you can tell that it's actually 4 silhouetted figures with a staff in the center. I primarily play White Mage, but that was the first time I realized that what the icon actually depicted. The staff members and I had a good laugh over that. Oh my god, you're right!
Yeah, I know. I didn't realize this either.
Shit! I have never seen that before. What? Oh, please, you are gonna focus. You know what? I'm turning off the lights just so we can focus. Come on. I think. Oh, come on.
Almost.
Yeah.
I think people can see it.
Yeah, they can see it. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess I never really looked closely at some of the icons. I would have never seen that there were 4 little men.
I guess I just never thought what the icon was. I just thought pink thing with a thing in the middle. That's Medica.
Or something. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so it says Medica 2's icon. I also originally thought that the icon was supposed to be a flower or something with a branch in the middle surrounded by petals. Interesting.
Yeah, it's very reasonable.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I'm sure there are still icons I haven't fully understood. True. Like, I don't know what half of my icons actually are supposed to be. Yeah. Next, I'd like to ask about one of the custom... I want to go look at all the, like, high-res...
I know!
Next, I'd like to ask about one of the custom deliveries clients, Elto. I was really surprised when I heard a rumor that her signature shown in the UI changed over time. What were your thoughts when implementing this feature?
I didn't notice that.
No. Sorry, this is not an interview with Elto. Seki says, I also saw the social media posts pointing out that Elto's signature changes with each stage. I was both happy and impressed that players had noticed such a minor detail. We've been putting in some fun Easter eggs in the custom deliveries UI since the first client, Zloe Aliapo. If you look carefully, you'll find scribbles by her younger sister Chloe, or stickers you may recognize from Wondrous Tales. This was suggested by the staff member in charge at the time. We thought it was fantastic, and while we haven't done it for every client, we've added some little tidbits for several of them. Yeah, there's sometimes...
Another thing I didn't notice.
Yeah, there's like a... They've circled it here, a little stick. Oh god, I can't do this every time. That's never gonna show. But there's like, just imagine a sticker here.
I feel as if we should have realized beforehand that something as visual as UI design should have been.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of this. As for Elto, we knew that she'd be growing over the course of 3 stages. You know what? We're just gonna have to treat this as the audio podcast because audio listeners don't even get the luxury of watching the visual anyway. So As for Alto, we knew that she'd be growing over the course of 3 stages during the story, so we decided to add something to indicate her progression. As a result, we came up with something like this. At first, her attempts are clumsy. Her signature looks more like claw marks, and the paper is a little torn, too. During the second stage, she gets better at making the markings look more like letters. Oh yes, audio and video VOD viewers, the link to all of this will be in the description, so you can watch it then, I guess. On your own. During the final stage, the story shows her using tools skillfully, and she's able to write words correctly as well. That was how we depicted the change over time. Alto is the only client so far that changes with each stage, so I hope you'll check out her custom deliveries if you haven't already.
Okay.
It's a bit late now.
It's a bit, yeah, it's a little late. Okay, sounds like there are lots of other hidden elements that I haven't noticed. I have to go see everyone again. Next, I'd like to talk about job gauges. Nowadays, they're pretty much essential, but job gauges weren't added until Stormblood. What did you have in mind when designing them? It all started when the battle system team came to us to talk about adding a new gameplay element. The UI artists brainstormed designs to match each job and decided on a direction from there. We also had producer and director Yoshida take a look as we narrowed it down, then began making the actual data and putting the internal system together. That was really hard. He laughs nervously. There's an enormous number of things we have to keep in mind when creating the job gauges. How they should work, how to differentiate them from other HUD elements, sections that light up to indicate stances, or how many stacks you have, effects like the glow effect when your gauge is full, and more. We worked together with the battle system team and carefully examined minute details, such as the animation of the gauges filling up, or how easy it was to visually recognize that the gauge was glowing. There were numerous points that we needed to consider, and so many elements that we had to implement. I think it may have been the most difficult task I ever had as a UI artist. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the White Mage, the launch White Mage gauge, but that happened. That was the thing.
I don't necessarily know. It does look pretty.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if the concept behind the White Mage gauge is his fault.
No, it looks pretty.
He had to design something for a system that the battle team probably created because they were, well, every job needs a job gauge now.
Even so, all the UI artist members are passionate about 14, and they were interested in working on the job gauges, especially for the jobs that they played. No one played White Mage. Everyone is quite experienced with the game, which I forgot. Hello, Faris. Everyone is quite experienced with the game, which really helped when it came to incorporating the necessary elements into a tangible design, and I think they were able to come up with exceptional results. I've personally leveled all the jobs to 80, and I really believe that it's important to play and have passion for the game.
Yes. It's great to have a team that wants to play the game.
Yes.
Yeah. Why didn't you guys play Ninja at Stormblood launch?
Yeah, why didn't you play White Mage? Yeah. Okay. I see. Everyone's playing like Black Mage because of Yoshida. Because they know. I would do that too, because I'll be like, the producer and director plays Black Mage. Obviously, that's the job that's going to have the best life under his rule. So far, I think that's true. I see. The job gauges were successful because the UI artists had a very deep understanding of the game. I'd like to hear about what stood out to you the most out of everything you've worked on. Seki says, creating the UI for Yorha Dark Apocalypse was memorable to me. I was the one who created the UI for Yorha Dark Apocalypse. I'd already spent a lot of time playing Nier Automata when I heard about the crossover. As a player of the game myself, I never thought I'd get to work on a related project, and I remember being extremely excited. The topic of recreating Nier Automata's UI within 14 came up in our discussion with the event team, which led to creating the portable archive. When Yorha Dark Apocalypse was released, I saw comments on social media like, I was expecting the usual UI when I opened the portable archive, so the Nier Automata UI really caught me off guard when I read that, I felt, yes, I did it. And I never thought I could move people with UI. It's true. That was jarring.
It's a good point.
Opening that the first time. Yeah.
Are many people talking about that on social media?
I mean,
Japanese social media, I guess.
That's a
Yeah.
Because I can't remember
weird
that
thing
being
to
a thing.
just tweet about.
Yeah, I don't think I'd see that, but yeah. It was really, that was a breath of fresh air, having like a really, like not a 14, because it's not 14 technically, it's like near. So it gets its own UI. That's really cool. People tear up when they hear beautiful music or experience a wonderful story. But when it came to UI, I was always under the impression that reactions were more mundane, like it's easy to navigate or it matches the theme. Of course, compliments about Yorha's UI are often based on the wonderful game that is Nier Automata, but recently we've received more and more compliments about the UI art, and now I feel that we've been able to reach people's hearts through the UI. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I feel that strongly about the UI. I'm not moved by it, but I do appreciate the effort that was put into it.
I definitely think that the UI has been going up and up in this game, especially since we ditched the PS3.
Yes. There are all sorts of unique individuals in the UI artist team. Some are great at making cute or fancy designs, whereas I have confidence in systematic UI, such as those for the Trust system or Dome and Mahjong. I'd like to continue to incorporate our specialties and create UIs that remain in players' hearts. It shows a picture of the Trust system UI as well, which I feel is very well made. It's also very different. It's also the same feeling when you open that for the first time after having, being so used to 14's gray spaghetti. Yeah.
Why is the classic skin, classic theme, not this shade of blue?
That's true. I do wonder why. There are so many other shades of blue that they've used in UI elements, and they just chose a different one for the blue theme. Can you please tweak it just a little darker, please? It's too much.
They're so close, though. They're so close.
Yeah, they're close, but they're
very close.
Not there. It's just slightly off.
I use it anyway, though. I'm tired of the gray look. I don't care.
I agree. I'm
tired. I needed something new.
I need something new as well, which is why, please, if you're listening, just a little darker, and I'll switch, please. Yes, what were you saying?
I also want to say, in regards to the Trust screen UI, I feel as if I could not imagine back in A Realm Reborn a UI screen that just features renders. Well, not necessarily renders, but like static images even of NPCs in this game. The way that this looks like.
Impossible.
We've come so far.
Yeah. The Trust UI is like the biggest, like, it really shows how far the UI has come in this game. This would have been unthinkable up until if I would feel like far into Heavensward even. It would still be like, I would be amazed if this ever popped up then. So yeah.
I think one of the easiest ways to compare it is to look at the visual fidelity of the Trust NPC pictures compared to Triple Triad cards.
Yes. Oh God, when are they going to deal? They're probably not even going to bring it up here, but they need to upscale the Triple Triad art, because that is. Some of those are criminally low res. Good Lord.
I also feel like they need to pick. They do. I also think they just need to pick different artwork for a lot of them.
Yes. Yes, thank you for your sacrifice, PS3. It is your sacrifice that has led us to this, to the Trust UI. All right. Now for our usual question about your tools of the trade. Is there anything you simply cannot work without, carry everywhere with you, or find useful? Seki says, for me, it's the Elgato Stream Deck. I read a web article last year that introduced all sorts of handy things for playing 14, and this device was one such item. I have never used my Stream Decks for this, but I'm sure you can, but because he's literally got... Wait, what does he do with it?
He's got like some macros on there. Looks like there's a party finder too.
Yeah.
He's got the Corpica Colossus mount as a button on his Stream Deck.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's like, you just press that button instead of...
Well, when you press that button, does it input text in chat like as a macro? Or is it like key bound to his hotbar? Because it doesn't speak directly to 14.
It's key bound.
Yes. So okay. So it's just key bind. All right. It allows you to assign hotkeys. Well, there you go, to the buttons on the device, and you can also create macros that execute multiple commands with one button. There are also devices that can do this, but a major feature of the Elgato Stream Deck is the LED display that shows an icon for each of the buttons. At work, I use this to switch between tools and to execute macros in Photoshop. You can combine multiple actions or commands together, so it's extremely useful. I can't show you the one I use for work, so here's a picture of what it looks like when I'm playing 14. As you can see, there's a small icon for each button. You can have it display action icons to have a physical version of your hotbars in real life. This is where I move my shortcuts when I need to conserve space on my in-game hotbars. Of course, you can even switch multiple layouts, so you could even toggle between button layouts for battle and crafting, for example. It's been extremely convenient ever since I first bought it, and I put it to use all the time for both work and personal use. This interview brought to you by the Elgato Stream Deck. Buy it now, enter promo code UI for 50% off.
I mean, all of these interviews have promoted some real life product.
Yeah. Do you have any parting words for our readers? Seki says, I also play 14 every day, and it's truly a lot of fun even now. I was part of the Final Fantasy X-2 and Final Fantasy 13. Ooh, these are... Okay, I mean, they're titles. 13 development teams.
I mean, you can't blame him for the quality of those games. He makes the
I'm not blaming
UI
him for the quality. I'm saying unfortunate games.
Just
unfortunate games. And I didn't play 14 until a little later in A Realm Reborn. It was just so much fun when I tried it out, and I ended up joining the team in Heavensward. I've played many of the numbered Final Fantasy titles, but 14 has a special place in my heart. It goes without saying that I was playing yesterday too, and I got a lot of motivation to work just from playing the game. Sometimes when I'm playing, I'd be like, I wonder what it'd be like if I added this to the game. Imagine having that power. Recently, there have been a lot of positive comments on social media about the UI, and I'm truly grateful. The most recent ones would be comments regarding group posts about how the doodle stickers are cute and how the feature has gotten easier to use. There have been a lot of players who have enjoyed the UI artist's work, and seeing those comments is truly inspirational. Please continue to let us know what you think on social media. Finally, now that I know that we can move players with the UI, I'd like to continue to create all sorts of amazing things. I hope you'll continue to enjoy 14. There we go. That is lead UI designer Seki. God, what was his name? Yoichi Seki. What's your favorite UI in 14?
That's
UI element.
Question.
I know.
Oh.
Think about it. Is there anything in 14 that you appreciate, like UI wise?
I like the Gunbreaker one, because when you load in like the charges and you spend them, I like how it like shakes. It's very satisfying.
Oh, right, the job gauge.
Charges, yeah.
Yeah. The log out button.
Well, as far as job gauges go, I think the Black Mage job gauge is the most well designed.
Yeah, Wondrous Tales, which is also what Mail I picked, is like one that I really remember as being one of the more elaborate UIs. That's when it started, I feel like, for the game, is when we got stuff like Wondrous Tales, where there's not just the gray box with just some icons on it. It was like more fleshed out. Also, I guess custom deliveries is sort of in the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe one day we can experience the Faux Hollows UI at some point.
True. Oh God, can't believe we still haven't done that.
We'll do it one day.
Yeah.
We got time.
Yeah. All right. So there's that. We're going to move on to a second interview. We're not done. There is so that's interesting. I love hearing about parts of the game that is not as like popular to hear about. Like a UI designer interview is not, but I think shit like that is very interesting.
That's neat.
Yeah, the strength of the backstage interviews, we get an insight into people in the development team that, unfortunately, like most outlets will never ask, like, can we please speak to your UI designer? No, they'll want to speak to people like Yoshi P or Soken or Koji.
Yes,
people that have like exciting or interesting roles in the development team.
Right, the rock stars. All right,
this guy.
Dude, I would love. Actually, though, I would love to hear what he has to say.
Wasn't he moved on to something else? What's he doing now?
I don't know.
It's part of the what is it? The non-battle activity team, like the one that does like crafting and
yes, it was something like that. Yeah. Also, chat is pointing out that Deep Dungeon 2, the Deep Dungeon system UI is really good as well. Okay, again, another shade of blue not used in the blue theme for some reason. All right, let's now moving on to another part that I think could be interesting. Another part of the team, the localization team, which, from what we can tell, is a very difficult job, especially for the French, to keep things secret. They've struggled, and they've made a few oopsies. All right, I'm going to skip all the fluff text where there's the self-congratulatory stuff at the top of the interview. All right, here we go. So we have the interviewees is, oh no. Catherine, that is, I'm assuming, what, is that a Welsh last name? Or is it that is a last name that I'm going to butcher.
Go on.
Catherine, I'm just going to read it straight. Quinnar is what it says. But
I would have said Quinnar as well.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's pronounced something entirely different. Which is the lore. She's the lore consultation and English translate later.
It's a German name.
Of course, the French translator is called Pierre, which is Pierre Pasquier. Is the French translator, and the German translator is David Fehrmann, and the localization project manager is Maki Shiota. So there you go. What a mix. Let's jump into the interview. What makes localizing an online multiplayer title like Final Fantasy XIV different from titles that offer purely single-player experiences? Also, approximately how many people are involved in Final Fantasy XIV's localization? David, the German.
Do the accent.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Online games evolve over many years, continuously adding both story and lore. With each update, new content and systems are added, and the project becomes more complex. This is both exciting and daunting at the same time, as your work defines how the players perceive this evolving world in many ways. From the dramatic encounter between mortal enemies to the naming of an inn or area. Secondly, we aren't just dealing with a single protagonist, but with millions. For each and every player, the story is designed to make them feel unique and central in saving the world. While it is not always easy to portray the content as an organic team effort between several protagonists instead of a single hero or heroine, I think 14 is doing very well in keeping this feeling of being unique for each and every player throughout the main story and intertwining most other content with it. The project manager, Maki, for English, German, and French, we currently maintain a team of 5 to 6 translators per language. We also borrow additional... 5 or 6. Like, a team of 5 has to translate, like, a whole patch.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
They have a lot of time.
They do, but still, that's... We also borrow additional help in particularly busy periods during the development of the expansion pack, for example. Okay, that's...
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I think 5 or 6 is not enough for an entire expansion pack
No.
worth of translation.
Good
I
lord.
get 7 for expansions.
Yeah. As for what makes the 14 team different from what we have on other projects, lots of things. But what stands out most is how very much a team it is. The nature of the project means that everyone, including localization, QA, and sound department members, have been working together since A Realm Reborn at least, so we're all very close. On any other project, the localization staff would be involved for 2 or 3 years at most before moving on to other things. But on 14, a lot of our members have been on the project for like a decade. We also have a lot of little get-togethers to celebrate the completion of each patch, or we did before the pandemic anyway, so we know each other pretty well. I doubt any other team can beat us on that score. Not that it's a competition, right?
Okay.
God, okay, so... All right, that makes sense. Now, Kate, lore, English. As mentioned above, Final Fantasy XIV in particular is a team effort of this. There's a hair on this microphone that's like tickling me nose, and it is driving me fucking nuts. Okay, as mentioned above, Final Fantasy XIV in particular is a team effort of the sort that's incredibly rare in Japanese game localization. So it would be hard to really put a number to the people involved in this aspect of the project. We translators are very fortunate to have an ongoing dialogue with the devs regarding the lore, UI, cutscenes, and more. Sorry, what? I read that very strangely. An ongoing dialogue with the devs regarding the lore, UI, cutscenes, and more. There you go. This allows us to spot potential localization pitfalls, but also helps us have a more sound understanding of what we're translating, and allows the dev team to ask us questions in turn. Sorry, the hair on the microphone really fucked me up.
That much.
Oh god, it was there for so long, and I was trying to like, should I just like leave it there and just move my head? And I tried to like remove it with my. I did this like while I was reading to try to remove it with my nose. So my cat's hair is like the worst because it's like. It's like almost, it's so thin, it's like a ghost of a hair that's like just silent, like you can barely see it, and then when it hits your nose, it's like anyways. Right, so the 14 localization team works very closely with the development team. Could you tell us about how that dynamic works in a little more detail? Kate, English. The main teams we end up working with directly here in Japan are the event team, responsible for lore and story, and the cutscene team. I work with the former, frequently on lore and naming checks. This involves a lot of them sending me large files to comment on, and also more casual back and forths via Messenger, where we ask questions, discuss ideas, or lament the fact that there are so many fire attacks because we're really running out of synonyms. When it comes time to translate and record the voiced scenes for main scenario, representatives from each language usually meets with the writer in charge about how long it will take to act out the lines that need to be synchronized to animations to see if we need to adjust the script or performance in order for all languages to take roughly the same amount of time. Oh yeah, that's the thing too, right? Because you need to like...
Gotta get those lips.
Yeah. Well, at least they don't have to deal with that. Well, maybe...
They do have sometimes, though, because sometimes the dialogue does...
Well, sometimes
follow.
they time it very well. Like, it's you almost forget the lip flapping is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they've ever synced them.
I don't think it's synced. I think it probably uses the same like logic that is used for having your character speak in game.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of like the CG trailers, where those are synced.
Yeah, those are definitely synced.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Are there ever situations where the 14 localization team gives ideas to developers instead of localizing game content that's already been created? David, German. The English team is actively involved in naming of skills and localization names, etc. And the
Location names.
What? What did I say?
Localization names.
Oh, location names, sorry, yes, etc. And the wider localization team is invited to provide ideas and concepts for new creatures from their various cultures. Then there are situations where we do culture checks and flag potential issues in the story to avoid misunderstandings or to cater to contemporary cultural developments. So, yep, there you go. That's important. Kate, English. I do often provide ideas for names we could use for in-game terms, bosses, attacks, NPCs, places, titles, and things like that based on parameters from the team. I'm not sure how much people actually notice that stuff, but I'm always happy when my ideas get used. Like, I'm helping! Yay! Yeah. Now that we have an idea of the 14 localization team's workflow, we'd like to ask some questions pertaining specifically to the game itself. Even just the description of character creation options such as race, job, and patron deity contain a vast amount of terms unique to 14's lore. What challenges are presented in localizing a title with such an expansive universe? Also, I should probably mention that this is from the Final Fantasy Portal website. This is not from the dev blog. I forgot to open with that, but yeah. It's a very weird website. It's just the Final Fantasy Portal. Sometimes there are interviews. Sometimes it's merchandise promo. I don't know what that website is. It's a very eclectic website for Final Fantasy things.
It's very... They don't often promote it.
No. Again, it's just one of those things that just seems to be speaking to the void. It's like, who's this for? Okay. Pierre, France is finally speaking. Nowadays, I would say consistency. Sorry, what was the... what challenges are presented in localizing a title with such an expansive universe? Nowadays, I would say consistency. I don't think there's anyone on the planet that can hold all the lore of 14 in their head, so we always have to check everything we write or translate regarding that. Working on a game that has been going on for such a long time also means that maintaining old text becomes more and more difficult and time-consuming. Yeah, that's like a thing that I've talked about before, is like, or other people have talked about in interviews as well, is that the older the game gets, the harder it is to like keep track. You're muted, Rollo.
I'm fucked up. Sorry. It's like Fallout, where it's just didn't the Bethesda team say something? They had to refer to the fan wiki at this point now.
Yes.
Because it was just so ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Encyclopedia Eorzea helps them a little. I mean, it
A
has.
lot.
Yeah. Okay, so ensuring consistency through. So this is David, German. Ensuring consistency throughout the lore and existing content is one measurement of quality in our translations. Of course, a translator's experience is also very important. It can take years to get a grasp of the whole 14 world, as it's so vast. We also cross-check each other's work, while our editors and a full-fledged QA team are also on the lookout for potential issues. Has there ever been an incident where there's like an actual error that is like conflicted with existing lore that they have corrected? I don't think that's happened.
I don't think in English, maybe in another language.
Maybe?
I can't remember one off the top of my head. Normally when that happens, they correct the thing in the past so that it matches the thing in the present, like they did with Phlegathon and Acheron.
Remember, didn't they change... what was the Dalmasca thing? Because...
Dalmasca and now Mask.
Yes, those were like changed. That's more of a retcon, I guess. Like yeah, I don't think there's ever been like an actual problem. So they've done a pretty good job at that. And also, I mean, if they make a mistake, they do have the option to retcon and just make it so.
Like the nail thing.
Right, like the nail thing. Yes.
Which is unbelievably complicated.
Yes. Okay, so Kate adds this English. We kind of have trouble hiring new translators or getting help on the project. I can imagine, because there are few translators who have the ability and willingness to imitate the style of the English, along with the intimate knowledge of 14 that is required to work on the game at this point. Yeah.
That is a great point.
Yeah, and she's play 7+ years of MMO content and memorize everything. Thanks. Oh, and hurry up, we're on a deadline. It's probably not something one wants to hear on their first day of work.
Well, it's not just that. She even mentions the style of English, which is a good point. It is not modern English that you have to be translating a lot of this into.
True.
I could imagine that these translators are literally indisposable. Probably
one of their most valuable assets right now. That you don't want to lose them because they have, training a new translator is probably going to take a lot of time and a lot of money. On the development side, there's a lot of back and forth between Japanese lore folks and the localization team, as well as within our own team, when establishing those unique terms, because when we decide something, it will keep cropping up forever to our eternal regret if we get it wrong.
Isn't that one? Who was the guy that worked in the lore book? That was constantly picking apart shit.
Oh yeah,
I can't remember his name.
No, I don't remember.
I don't remember his name. He was originally a fan, and then they hired him on as a lore consultant.
Moose? Was it Anonymous?
Don't ask me.
I don't remember. I think so. Yeah. That's where we have the screenshot of Koji Fox attacking him with the lore book because there's a typo in the book. Remember that? That was all right. 14 often has collaboration events with other games and series. Does localization for those contents differ from purely 14 content? Pierre, French. We have to use a specific glossary for the other game elements, like skills, place names, and more. Also, the person in charge needs to know a thing or two about the other game. You couldn't ask someone who's never played Nier to translate something based on Yoko Taro's work, for instance. Then we have to be careful when two very different worlds collide, like with 14 and 15. True. I mean, that's also a challenge when you're doing a crossover and you have to deal with another game's just everything. I don't
think there's as much in 15 to necessarily know about.
That's true.
But Nier, I mean, even someone that knows about Nier, so I imagine it's very difficult to translate that so that it fits into 14.
Yeah. You mentioned how 14's regular patches and new content makes its localization unique. Can you tell us about that in a little more detail? Are there any special steps taken to increase localization efficiency so as to keep up with 14's update schedule? David German says, the basic localization workflow is always the same. Familiarize, translate, edit, quality assurance. That process is basically put into an endless cycle. Okay. So they have to familiarize themselves with the term or the word or whatever, then I guess, oh God, I could never be a translator. This would stress me the fuck out. They'll be like, oh, here's the patch. I'm like, oh God, that patch has a release date. You have to finish this before the release date.
Like that. Everyone else is depending on you.
Oh, that's true.
I took classes in translation in university, and I could never do this. It's way too much.
Yeah. Kate, English. And despite all of the planning and everyone's best efforts, being involved in the lore development process with our cyclical schedule often results in a lot of spinning plates, at least for me. Since we do field a considerable amount of requests outside of the game text itself, patch titles, stuff for the lodestone, lore books, oh my God, they do the lore books, of course, and the liner notes and merch names, oh my. We rarely have the ability to schedule in advance and have everything go to plan. We just try to roll with the punches. They do so... This is the invisible heroes of the dev team, I feel like. There is so much work they go through. And we rarely hear from them. I guess Koji Fox is their rep. So they have a good...
Yes.
They have him, but yeah. If you have played other main series Final Fantasy titles, like 1 through 15, is there anything you've noticed while playing that piqued your interest, or that you've ended up using in your work localizing 14? Pierre, French. Some older translations are quite famous, so we do sometimes place a reference to them here and there, though never at the expense of the story, of course. Kate, English. The Japanese side does a lot of work incorporating references from other Final Fantasy titles into 14 in a variety of ways, and we keep those references intact as much as is possible in the localized versions, so there is not a lot of need for us to borrow further specific bits from those games. It's also dangerous in the event that the writers decide to reference that same stuff later. True.
Reference the bad FF7 Spanish translation, please. I want someone to join my fiesta. Or was someone joined your partido? Someone joined the political party?
It's such a shame there's not a Spanish translation of 14.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just make it just as bad.
Yeah.
Everyone's the wrong gender. Nothing makes sense.
Would you consider switching the language, Rollo, if they started translating it all into Spanish? They're probably never going to do it now. It's too much
it would
work
be
to
European
retroactively
Spanish,
do.
though, as well.
Yeah, that it would be awful, and they'd say some really stupid shit that I don't like hearing. They'd say, like, I can't, hold on, or something. I'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Oh God. Reminds me of Orange. In terms of less specific things, like the overall localization style, as in any type of writing, each translator's style is going to be influenced by what they've picked up across the years from reading other translations and materials written in their target language, along with their personality and taste. In our case, our individual styles are also adjusted to be consistent with the overall style of 14. So there isn't a lot of room to take specific inspiration from other games, but their influence is probably in our work somewhere. Final Fantasy XIV also allows people who don't speak mutual languages to play together. Oh yes. Including tools such as set phrases that can be automatically translated into other languages and sent to chat. Does an MMORPG with such a diverse player base present any unique challenges compared to one that's only played in one language? What special steps are taken to accommodate for that kind of community? I love that that question is like answered in like a picture posted directly below it with the auto-translate dictionary, but okay. Pierre, French. Like you say, there's this tool of set phrases in the game that helps a lot. Apart from that, we try to be more conservative when translating system-related text, like actions, tools, or interface names.
So I'm looking at these auto-translates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a thing in French sentence structure to put a space before, like, end punctuation?
Is that where that comes from? Like, because some people do that. Like, put a space between the, like, exclamation points and stuff.
Oh.
Maybe that is a French thing. Yeah, because that's in the auto-translate.
Yeah, because in the English and the German translations, the exclamation mark comes directly after the word.
Yes.
For the French translation, there is a space for those that can't see what we're talking about.
Yeah. Well, too bad. I don't think we have any French people watching. So I
No, I think we've driven them away.
Yes.
Look at them.
Interesting. Okay. Well, there you go. That's actually interesting because the people that I know that do that, they studied French. So they all did. I'm learning something. All right, because that bothers me to no end when people do that. I'm like,
yeah,
keep that space there.
The upside down question mark.
Oh, that's funny though. I use that like just sometimes at random. I'm like, you know what? Today's an upside down question mark day.
You gotta put it in front and then
Yes.
Can I ask, what does it mean?
I like it because it's like question incoming. It's like, you know, this the following line is a sentence is a question.
It's just, yeah, you contain a question in Spanish with the upside down in the front, and then the right side up one in the end.
It's like quotation
So it's like
marks. But it's just-
quotation marks.
yeah.
Yeah, for questions.
Yeah.
I think people don't do it as much in texting these days, but yeah.
Oh, I like that explanation.
Yeah. All right. David German. For specific content like raids, we sometimes work closely with other languages to make sure that our translations don't differ too much. Most people are probably defaulting to English when teaming up, so German tends to look closely at the English terms when it comes to specific mechanics that are key to win. While the meaning will be mostly the same in all three languages, the way the meaning is conveyed might largely differ, as Japanese is not a language that you can always It says transport. I'm assuming translate.
Yeah, I would assume translate as well.
Translate one-to-one into a Latin language.
Got a question for the translation team.
Yeah.
What's that one famous quote that was asked to be translated to Japanese or something about being in love? It's like we would say,
"Oh, yes."
If we translate Japanese, it's like the moon looks beautiful tonight, doesn't it?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Furthermore, we try to work very creatively with the language, and sometimes that means diverging from the source text to highlight a certain aspect of a characterization or story element better for our target audience. Right, yes. Final Fantasy XIV has very passionate fans both in Japan and around the world. Continuing with the previous question's theme, as a title aimed at a global audience, is Final Fantasy XIV localization less challenging than other titles in any way?
Can't imagine that.
I know. Kate, English. Equivalent player experience and the dev team's awareness of the global nature of this game are certainly a huge help. Prominent figures on the project, like producer-director Yoshida-san and world lore creator/main scenario writer Oda-san, have a much more solid understanding of the mechanics, potential, and value of localization than most people in the industry, and trust in our ability to do our jobs. We're not put in the position of delivering work that we know is going to disappoint English speakers, because if there's anything that really will not translate well, we can always consult with the devs about changing it in one or all languages. The popularity of the game in English markets is a testament to the fact that this way of operating is good for players too. True. And Pierre, since the game is in constant development and translation, we can always suggest changes when we find something that could be improved. And since the next patch is always around the corner, we can fix old mistakes when we, or our devoted fans on the forums, find one. Those millions of pairs of eyes certainly help.
Okay, they do go back and patch shit, so I guess that's why it's hard to find any lasting translation errors.
Yeah, I was going to ask about this because occasionally when I first play a patch, I will notice the occasional like syntax or not. I don't think I've ever noticed a spelling error, but I'll notice syntactical errors in terms of sentences.
We've had some patches released with just Japanese text for certain things.
Yes, as well. That is true.
A lot of tooltip icons, especially at the launch of expansion.
Yeah,
the final stuff just are in Japanese.
Yes.
I think that's easier to pick up. The syntactical errors, where like it's just a word missing. I sometimes wonder if that still exists later on, because obviously I can't replay it if it's an MSQ. Well, I can now,
right?
But I'm not going to. So I'm always curious to hear if like people that play a patch, a year or two after it's released, if it was fixed.
The forums will immediately light up if they just anything weird.
Because when I notice them, I'm like, could I tell them about it? And I'm just like, it's a lot of effort.
Yeah. Do that. There's no like report spelling error. You have to go to the forums and be like, did you know in this quest for 5.3 you used a and not an? You fucking
yeah.
So something I don't like how a and an are used. This is a tangent.
What?
But like,
go on your soapbox.
Sometimes I get confused, particularly in games that are translated by Americans, because they will use "an" for words that should not, like herb.
Oh.
Sorry, a herb sounds terrible.
Well, it's not a herb, it's a herb.
rates, enter.
I agree with you, Georgi, but this is this is a small soapbox. Only you can fit on this one. I'm not. I don't care that much.
It's just.
But I understand.
I feel like I've noticed this in 14 before, and it just sticks in my mind.
Yeah. It's also
because it is a team. Because
go on.
I was just going to say, because Koji is originally, Koji's not the only person on the translation team, but Koji is originally an American, but is translated into a primarily British-style English. So when that happens in this game, it is more noticeable to me, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Never noticed anything like that at all. It just makes so much sense to say like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I think we can fit one quick Mugmail before we wrap up.
Give the little tease for what's happening.
Oh yeah, sorry. This was a part 1, so there will be a part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Don't miss part 2 of our Final Fantasy XIV localization team interview, where we dig even deeper into 14's world and characters, the challenges of localizing unique cultural nuances, and more. Stay tuned.
I'm
so
curious about this.
Yes, that's
because I'm
interesting
wondering
topic.
I'm wondering if they're going to touch on the cultural, how much they changed Torture font in the English translation.
Ooh, what do you think they'll? Square Enix is.
I suspect they won't. Yeah. But I always have wanted them to talk about it.
Same.
That's for sure.
Okay, let's do one really quick Mugmail so that we just at least done one, and then we'll wrap up the show. Here is this week's Mugmail. This one's from Leah. Oh God, I always Leah.
It's already gone.
Togberga. Togberga. I'm so sorry. Rogadin names, I just cannot. From Zodiark. Hello, speakers. There's a lot of strange creatures that appear on the Eorzean map. Dragons, sea serpents, kraken, giant worm, flying whale, siren, and of course the Four Lords. We've fought most of these creatures, but now that we're heading to Garlemald, or what will be left of it, do you think we'll have to face this weird, long-haired giant we can see east of the Imperial capital? Thanks. Yes, I think we will. And remember when they talked about this, they've talked about this before, and I think they even said, whenever you get to Ilsabard, that's when you'll deal with that. I know they've said that, something like that. So, who is it? Is this a final? I feel like we've talked about this before, but my brain, it only goes back a couple of hours, my memory. So, I think is it a reference to another Final Fantasy game? If so,
I have no idea.
Help me chat. Save us from the YouTube comments.
It just looks like a big old Titan. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Giant of Babel.
I have to say,
possible.
From 4, possibly.
Yeah.
Okay. I will say, don't expect it to be anywhere as big as it is on the map, because the worm isn't.
That worm's still pretty massive, though.
That's true.
It is still massive, but I think the map exaggerates how big things are. So if you're expecting like this city-state-sized man, I hope you are. I want to warn you now to lower your expectations.
Yeah.
I think we will see them in some way or form, because like all the other icons on the map, like all the little beasties and such, we've pretty much seen them in some shape or form, except for the mermaid, I think.
Yeah. The siren on the...
Oh, actually, no.
That siren song, isn't that supposed to be like...
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I think the idea behind sirens is that people don't know what they look like, so that could just be like their imagination of what Lorelei was.
Yeah, okay. Possible.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything on the map that we haven't encountered in some form. Like, I think there's like a weird Drake-looking thing. Where is this one? Like... So I'm just looking at the map right now.
There's a few little some of them are clearly just decorations, but I know that the giant specifically has been pointed out by either Yoshi P or someone.
Many times.
Yeah, and that they've been like, yeah, you'll deal with this dude when you get to Ilsabard. So we still don't know what like their trials are gonna be in 6.0. So maybe it's related to that.
Possibly, yeah. Well, we know one of them actually. We know one of them is Anima.
True. Doesn't quite look like Anima, but
No, I don't think it is Anima.
No, but it is still, yeah.
There's that whale too. Forgot about that one.
Oh yeah, there's the whale. Yeah, I think we'll fight him.
I feel like they could justify the whale as just like a visualization of Bismarck.
Could be.
I don't think they necessarily need to touch that. Or if it could just be the space whale that we're getting as a mount.
But the whale isn't nowhere near the Sea of Clouds, is it?
I mean, no, it's not. But I don't know. I feel like Bismarck can travel pretty far.
You know what? I can show this on streams just so people to give a visual here. This guy is the one we're talking about.
Big old Titan man with his big old stick.
Yeah. Is it a stick or is it something else?
I think it's probably a sword.
Okay.
Point.
I do like the idea that he's just out walking with a long stick. It's just out there.
I don't like the idea that he looks naked.
What's beneath the cloud?
Well, you can...
Exactly.
Forecast calls for pubes.
Okay. Roll out Des, please. On that note, I think we've reached the end of the show. Thank you for watching. It's the end. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfIreland, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, links in the description. Remember to send us Mugmail, speakersxiv.com/Mugmail. Stay tuned for the post show if you're watching live, and we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Sunday Funday tomorrow. See you then as well, hopefully. Goodbye!